Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick. Today we have set number 70656. This is Garmadon, 830 pieces and retails for $79.99. And this was part of the second wave of Ninjago movie sets, released alongside the Quake Mech, the Piranha Attack, and Garmadon's Evil Lair. And this was a Toys R Us exclusive for the last several months of Toys R Us's life. Now, currently, I believe it's limited to LEGO stores and shop at home. However, they may end up making it available at other stores, depending on their stock levels or whatever. That remains to be seen at this point in time, but at the beginning of its life, it was a Toys R Us exclusive, 830 pieces, $80. So, yeah. And it also comes with 6 minifigures, 2 of which are really cool and exclusive. So, let's start with the builds, though. The main build of the set is Garmadon's Shark Mech, and it's a pretty interesting looking thing. This is relatively recognizable from a couple of the trailers, I believe, but definitely if you've seen the movie, you'll recognize this thing from the very beginning. And it does have some interesting features to it, but I think that the thing that just is striking at me right off the bat is just the shaping on the shark part. It looks really good, especially from a distance. It's just these pieces are used pretty effectively, but I like the the angular design of it as well. From straight front, it doesn't look that great, but as soon as you get it to any sort of angle to the side, it starts to look pretty good. There are some awkward spots like the gray thrown into the teeth, and the bottom of the mouth has these 2 pieces which stick out kind of weirdly. You can remove those and it will still work. It will just be a bit less stable. So, you gotta consider that. But you can get it to that shape if you want, and that works. It's, it's just more likely to break off when you use this chomping feature, which it's got a gear on either side, and they both, move at the same time, obviously. So I could go like that, activating it from the other side, and you just turn it back and forth, and it'll make the mouth chomp up and down. Obviously, these are just used to make it a little bit more stable. I would have liked to see just curved slopes going the other direction, just to smooth it off on the bottom. That's my only visual complaint on the front section, and these do stick out kind of an awkward amount. But the inside of the mouth is tiled. You can try to fit a figure in the mouth, and you can kind of chomp it up, but it will be able to slide out relatively easily unless you do it sideways, and it doesn't close all the way if you do it that way. But you can get a figure, looking like it's about to be eaten with relative ease. So, that's neat for play features. The eyes look cool, by the way. And I like the gills here. This is a pretty interesting little build. The wings stick out, and inside of the wings, there are actually these Technic pins that are inserted, and you're able to put a sword inside of them, and it will be hidden underneath the fins. And you'll notice that it puts one sword by the default instructions in either wing, but there is an extra pin on either side, so you could fit all 4 of Garmadon's swords. Also, underneath that, there are these engines, which do have fans. You can angle them up and down, and that provides some propulsion. There are also lights attached there. And we have these Technic competition launchers, and you just pull back on this little red handle, shoots off. And that's cool. Always like these. I'm glad that they didn't retire them when they came up with the smaller spring-loader shooters, because these do pack quite a punch compared to those, and I like the functionality of these better. But, just looking down at the legs real quick, they actually, look kind of weird. This plate extends too far back, but that is important for stability, so I'm glad they have it. Just obviously it would be nicer if it didn't have to be there. The claws are made using these crane pieces, and the back ones are kind of loose. But the front ones are kind of locked in place. You can lift up this whole assembly, but you know, they'll kind of want to fall because gravity and the way they're attached. The legs actually don't move back and forth. Whoops, that was accidental. They're locked in place. It looks like they'd be able to rotate because of these joints, but it actually just uses 2 of them, one on either side of each leg, to give it some extra stability, and that just makes it very rigid. And this is not moving anywhere. Even if it tried to move, the actual joint here has a lot of friction in it. I would have liked to see it be able to move, but it's anchored in 2 spots on either side. It just, you know, makes it not possible. I understand why they've locked this joint, and that's because this thing is, you know, really heavy. You'll notice it tends to bounce back and forth on its feet, just if you touch it in the slightest bit. So it would probably, if these weren't locked, it would probably be tipping back to the back or to the front at all times. So, you know, glad that they at least, you know, make sure that this is pretty sturdy. You do have these things on the back which, you know, have stickers that go all the way around the brick, and those are just kind of like oxygen tanks or whatever. And the tail fin is pretty cool in shaping. I like how they keep the sand blue towards the top half, and they kind of have the gray for the belly that continues for the bottom of the fins. And you do have a propeller in the back for propulsion, as well as these 2 smaller engines, which don't actually have a spinning propeller, but they use the Speed Champion's wheels, and just the pattern makes it kind of look like a propeller. So, you know, that's cool. And visually, last on the top, you'll notice we have this big fin, which is the same. Also, both of the fins are built with studs on the side construction, and it's just 2 layers of plates that are put together and sandwiched in so they, you know, line up perfectly. The bottoms of plates line up perfectly, and that is secured with the use of these clips right up here that we need to go a little higher to get. Yeah, these clips right up here. You just clip that on, and that basically locks these plates and keeps them from flexing outwards, which I think is good. And there's a sticker on either side of the fin with the Garmadon Army logo. And right here is a bubble canopy for the back gunner, and the main canopy is inside of this head, which you know, has a periscope up on the top. To access the inside and put figures in there, you're going to remove this small little section. There is that little wheel that would represent like the hatch that you would spin in order to open it. And inside, there's no printed console or anything, but that's a very deep canopy because it is designed to fit Lord Garmadon inside, sitting down. And the entire body of him, his 2 torsos and everything, is all hidden inside this. It's kind of a shame that you can't see him, but you can't really see him, or you wouldn't be able to see him if he was sitting inside this anyway. I believe there's, in the movie, a separate, like, little platform on the top that he uses to pilot it, but they couldn't fit that at a reasonable size in this scale. The other canopy is also, you know, detailed very simply, but does have some jumpers inside, and you can place this guy right there. You can't fit any weapons in his hand, though, because you've got to stick this dome right around him, and the only thing you can see in there is his head. He can't sit down in there. It's just, you know, standing up. But, you know, just, I wish he was like a plate or so higher, but, you know, just being able to see him through that bubble canopy, I think, is pretty nice. And the secondary or side build that we get in this set is this awesome hot noodle dog cart. I mean, hot dog carts, you know, have been done time and time again in LEGO. Mostly the city themes, but, you know, there have been Friends ones, there have been, I think there was a superheroes one, maybe, but this is the first Ninjago one, and they gave it a cool Ninjago flair by calling it a hot noodle dog stand. This one has the stickered sign, which I think is pretty cool, and it has the Ninjago symbol there, which I really like that. There's also a flag, which kind of has the logo, that just says hot, and, you know, those this tile with the sticker. The sticker's the same on both sides, but it is on both sides, so you can display this from either direction. And you've got the flag, which has a sticker on both sides as well. There's this little lantern here, which is attached. These are on, they're relatively low friction, so they'll swing back and forth if you hit them. The tassel piece is nice to get more of. And you've got the condiments, which for some reason are pointing inwards onto the grill section, but you could just easily turn those around. I just built it according to directions. And there is a hot dog posed here on a jumper plate, so that's attached. It comes with a bun. There are 2 buns included here, as well as 2 hot dogs. And there's actually another hot dog and bun just hidden underneath there. There's 2 doors, one from either direction, and you can just open that up and hide a hot dog in there, so you do have an extra, which is nice, and that is, supposed to be included in there. Additionally, there are 2 extra just hot dog pieces because the hot dog cart's built in the first bag along with that figure. This figure holding the hot dog comes in the next bag, so each bag comes with an extra hot dog. So it's nice to have more of those, and I'm glad that they split that up. I wonder if it was intentional just to give you extra hot dogs. But the actual cart can also just be pushed by this guy, Nomus, and I'll just push it back and forth. It is on the small skateboard size wheels, and the last thing to note is this cool little hot dog build on the top. The bun, I think, is really nicely shaped, and the only downside of the actual hot dog is that it is kind of square in the middle, so if you look carefully you'll notice that. But they do have this sticker on the top which has noodles, so making it a hot noodle dog. And yeah, I really like this little build. I think that this is honestly going to be the highlight of the set for a lot of people, just because it is, really, really cool. And this would also go well with any of the Ninjago City sets, like the Chase or the big Ninjago City. The 2 civilian figures that are exclusive to this set are Nancy and Nomus. Nomus is a reuse of the hot dog guy costume, and it's pretty cool to get this piece multiple times. It looks really nice and is really well designed. The face print for him is also exclusive. That's really the only exclusive part, because the rest of him is the same as the hot dog guy. I think the hot dog guy had a plain tan torso. It might have been a different color, but plain tan torso is not super unique or special in any way. The hot dog piece is really cool. Obviously, if you don't know how that works, the actual hot dog part, or the hot dog bun part, can clip onto anything bar sized, and it just clips onto the hot dog and holds it in there, and looks really awesome. So really happy with that. The torso for Nancy is also exclusive to this set, and it's got an M-Tron logo, which is a nice callback to classic space. And she goes really well with the Blacktron fan from the Lego movie sets. So, pretty cool to have this torso available. Her face print is nice. It's got the big mouth brace retainer thing. It's nice to get something unique like that. And they both have alternate expressions, Nomus being really scared, and she just has an eyebrow raised. There is some good back printing on her torso, though. I think overall these figures are the highlight of the set because they are exclusive, but they're also both pretty neat, and I like the callback to classic space, and hot dog guys are always cool. Garmadon has 2 of his henchmen in this set. He's got Frank, who is basically exactly the same figure as the just the standard thug or gunner that appears in several sets, including the Piranha Chase. His weapon is a harpoon on a fish, so this weapon has also appeared in multiple sets. We also have Thor here as used as a weapon for this guy, Hammerhead, and it's cool. I like getting the hammer piece, but I'm not sure why Thor appeared in the movie as a fish. It's just a little weird. They didn't explain it in the movie at all either, so I don't know. I just found that odd, but the hammer pieces are also useful for architectural detailing and stuff, so I'm glad that they keep making them available in more sets. I just don't understand why Thor was in so many of the Ninjago movie sets, even though he wasn't even named in the movie. It was just a small cameo. But The actual prints on these guys' torsos and legs are nice. The legs are the same between the two, so a little bit less variation than some sets have. But I really like the hammerhead piece. It's got the eyes that are printed, as well as the teeth, which are painted on there, and it's got the 3 battery bars. This is molded in like the light bluish gray and just painted with dark bluish gray, I believe. I think that it may have a little bit of dual molding with the gunmetal color, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It's hard to tell. The face print appears in several sets, but it's a nice Ninjago movie style face. And there is some good printing on the fronts of the torsos and good printing on the backs of the torsos. Neither of these figures are exclusive though, but Hammerhead is rarer than, or the parts on Hammerhead are rarer than Frank's parts, mainly just the headgear piece. And then we have the Garmadons. Both of these are relatively common in the Ninjago movie line, Lloyd more so than Garmadon. Garmadon comes with 4 swords. Obviously, they're just standard katanas, and the other 2 are currently inside of his shark mech. But, they're both good figures. Also, Lloyd has his standard Ninjago movie sword, which is a really nice mold, and I'm glad they introduced this for the line. And obviously has the tassel piece attached. The actual figures are nothing special. They are the most basic forms of each of these guys. I like Garmadon's helmet, though. And the torso print for Lloyd is good. Leg print, also good. I like the black on black, which appears on the torso and continues onto the arms. That design is pretty nice, and I do appreciate it every time we get it. Back prints for both torsos. Again, Lloyd has the black on black, and Garmadon has his second torso. And Lloyd's headgear is the 2-part. It's got that one facial expression. And the other one, Garmadon, has no alternate face, but the one face he does get is good. There's the printing on this second torso, as well as on the bottom torso that is obscured by the top torso. Face is good, and leg print is relatively simple. These figures are really nice to have in this set, because if this is the only Ninjago movie set you get, you have the main good guy, main bad guy. Obviously, it would be really awkward to have the Garmadon's shark mech without Garmadon, but I'm glad they placed Lloyd against him, because this allows you to reenact the very beginning part of the movie where Lloyd confronts Garmadon in his shark mech. So I think that these are important figures to have in here. They don't excite me as much because I already have a bunch of the Ninjago movie sets, including these figures already, but they're pretty cool figures. All that being said, though, I think this is one of the worst Ninjago movie sets. It's got some aesthetic value going for it with just the shark design, but it's kind of I don't think it's as visually appealing as certain other sets on the larger end. Like, I think the Ice Tank looks better, the Quake Mech, Destiny's Bounty, Ninjago City. Even the Fire Mech is probably, more visually interesting than this, but, mechs bore you a little. This one is definitely very unique, but I don't think it has anything really, really drawing you into it, besides that hot dog cart. This, I think, is my favorite part of the set, and I think because of that, it kind of makes me question whether or not I should really be recommending this a ton. I would say this is on the bottom half, definitely, of Ninjago movie sets. Can't really place it further than that until I have, more of them. But I do think that if you get this set, if you choose to buy this one, maybe you want the hot dog cart, I don't think you'll be disappointed by the shark mech. I think visually, you'll know what you get before you buy it, because it looks very similar to what's on the box, and I think the box does a good job of portraying the scale of this thing. It looks good. There are some awkward angles, like the bottom of the mouth, and direct straight on face forward angle. That looks weird, but I think you can find ways to display this. I think it has decent playability. I think it could have used maybe a little bit more, and I'm disappointed by the lack of mobility in the legs. However, you know, what you get is a decent looking, sturdy model, and I think it's recognizable from the movie, and relatively memorable. So I think it's a good set. The figure selection is pretty good. Hot dog cart is awesome. This, okay. I'd rate this probably like a 7 out of 10, and I think the only reason that this isn't going to be, like, I think the main reason this isn't a great set to me is just because there are so many great sets from the Ninjago movie. This one kind of gets, you know, overshadowed just a little bit. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this set review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think of this Garmadon set. And also, let me know what you think about whether or not they're going to make it available at other retailers now that Toys R Us is out of business. So, hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys later. Bye, everyone.